My name is Tabitha. I'm honored to join your community today to present this workshop on emotional wellness. There's a few things that I'm going to cover today. And the first thing is on emotional intelligence, getting clarity on what that is and how it truly plays a role in our mental, physical, social, and even emotional wellness. I'm going to cover how the brain works under stress and what we can do to not get emotionally hijacked in fight, flight, freeze, stress response. As well as I'm going to be sharing an amazing stress management tool called Emotional Freedom Technique, EFT for short, that overcomes any trigger that you have. And then at the end, I'm going to lead you through a powerful healing meditation of EFT that you can do in under 10 minutes to reduce the stress in your body so you can feel more peace and show up in the confidence that you desire to in parenting and business and any area of life. So I'm going to share some slides with you. And I'm going to also share my story about how I became an emotional wellness and leadership coach. So I am fiercely passionate about helping people reduce stress, relieve anxiety, and release self-doubt with coping tools that work, ways that we can crush those inner bully thoughts that we have from sabotaging our happiness so we can feel good on the inside and out. So there's two people that really inspired me to create a emotional wellness mastery program and become a coach is my students. I do speech and language therapy in schools. So I work with a lot of kids to help them communicate better, whether it's social anxiety, working on sounds to sound better, just any way that they can communicate better. So I really integrate social emotional learning in my speech practices, as well as emotional intelligence. And it really helps kids have stronger friendships, work on their mental wellness, and just build the confidence they need to so they can thrive in life. And I also do professional development workshops for teachers and schools because teachers are more stressed than ever, and there's a really high burnout rate. So I do a lot of trainings on how you can overcome burnout and stress. So teachers can have the energy and the tools they need to teach and develop the whole child. My son is my inspiration to becoming an emotional wellness coach. When he entered high school, he started experiencing pretty high anxiety that led to anxiety attacks in the bathroom from test anxiety and perfectionism. And as most parents, we blame ourselves when our kids struggle. We really have a hard time with that. And we feel it's a reflection from our own parenting. And I got that, but I had so much mom guilt because he was my third child. He, was experiencing a lot of the things that he was experiencing quickly. I can notice pretty quickly with other kids, but I didn't notice with mine. And anxiety, you have two choices. Either it controls you or you control it. So it was physically making him sick, impacting his nervous system. And when we got the results back, we found out that he was highly deficient in vitamins that really increased, which was the cause for increasing his anxiety, as well as eating some foods that irritated his body because he was trying to gain so much weight for football and was eating a lot of more protein than he should have, and he wasn't able to digest it. And there were some foods that he was putting in his body for his diet that really triggered anxiety. So there was 2 months in my life where I wasn't emotionally fit. I started feeding my brain with, inner bully thoughts like I'm a bad mom. I should have known this. I could have done that. And it led me to just not sleeping, not taking care of myself. I was more irritable than ever. So it showed up in my behavior. I was yelling more at my loved ones. And I was just not being emotionally healthy. I didn't take care of myself. I was pouring so much into others, but not myself. So I wasn't even drinking water. It led me to be dehydrated and get kidney stones. And it impacted how I showed up as, the mom I desire to, the business person I desire to, and in my life. So I had to make changes to get emotionally fit. I started putting myself on my to-do list as priority, working on my mindset, and I journaled a lot, and I was able to reframe my thoughts. Also, I was introduced to emotional freedom technique, which I'm going to share with you today. And it was a powerful stress management tool that I can put a voice to how I felt with all that guilt and release that from all that toxic energy from my body so I can show up with confidence as I desire to. And so after sharing my story with several people who were also struggling with stress and burnout and anxiety in their own life because of fear or negative self-talk, or just even like pushing away emotions, going through life pretty fast, I saw the need for practicing emotional intelligence, tuning and feeling and processing our feelings in a healthy way, and having more honest conversations about it to face those emotions head on with self-compassion so they don't have power over us. And so I created a couple programs. One I have for moms where I share the tools to raise resilient, emotionally intelligent kids and how we can model it ourselves. And then I have another program for adults where it's an emotional wellness program, and we go over mindset strategies and stress management tools that work for them. And then I have a emotional freedom technique program where I call it scripts for people using their language on what they want to overcome for stress, and helping them create a meditation that they can use in their life to reduce the stress out of their body. And so they can just show up feeling good on the inside and out. And those are my 3 programs that I currently have and offer. And I wanted to share that story on what led me to become an emotional wellness coach. So that is my story. And I'd love to start this workshop by doing a emotional check-in. I would just love for you to really reflect on how you're feeling today using a feeling word, with no judgment, self-compassion, and just really think about like this past week, what you're feeling, how you want to feel, and just reflect on that. Naming your emotions is the first step to practicing emotional intelligence. And that alone just calms down our brain because we have clarity on how we feel. When we know how we feel, then we can move to the next step about what we should do next, the actions in our life, the coping tools that we need to move forward to get out of a certain feeling that we don't want to feel anymore, or to feel and process it and move through it. I'd like to just share what emotional intelligence is so we can gain clarity on how to practice it. So emotional intelligence is being smarter with your feelings. It's having a better relationship with your emotions. And it is truly integrating your rational brain and your emotional brain together to make the best possible decision. So it's to identify and understand and manage our own emotions. And it affects how we manage our behavior and navigate our relationships and even our decision making. So emotional intelligence, blending both is not easy, because people usually on the cognitive side, they tend to leave emotions out. So they don't feel, they don't process, and that alone can result in them hurting people's feelings or just not taking care of themselves because they're storing all that emotional energy in their body. And then people on the emotional side, when they're tackling situations just based on emotions, they're unable to problem solve. They're unable to make decisions. So their emotions are driving their behavior. And so when we're not approaching situations using both sides of our brain, we are easily hijacked, emotionally hijacked, and we go into fight, flight, freeze. So with self-compassion, I always say this, with self-compassion and no judgment when you're stressed, or just, you can reflect on the last time you really had stress. Which one of those 3 F's do you go in? Do you go into the fight response where, it shows up in yelling, or it shows up where you feel out of control, or it shows up where you're just emotionally eating your feelings? Or that flight response where you storm out of the room and you avoid conflict, or you just ignore the situation and you just really work hard on just escaping it. Or the freeze response where you say nothing, do nothing, and you just shut down. So most of us are taught to, push away emotions, don't feel, numb them. But as you know from experience and what research shows, when we do that, they come up really strong and big in another way at a time we don't want them to. So that's why emotional intelligence really helps you feel stress, because it's inevitable. We live in just a world that is going to throw some emotional roller coasters at you. But when you practice emotional intelligence, having a better relationship with your emotions, you can have stress but not get hijacked by these 3 F's. So when we have high level of stress, it can be truly challenging to concentrate, to perform, and solve problems, because the amygdala, and here you can see, is activated. It's meant to keep us safe, and it overrides that prefrontal cortex in our brain, the rational side of our brain, where we can problem solve, where we can really make good decisions. And so when we're stressed, we lose that side of the brain. We're just completely hijacked and we can't get it back. And it could be days, it could be, hours. And it shows up in our behavior. So emotional intelligence, it helps us effectively address our stressors, label our emotions, and self-regulate so we can return to a more calm state where we can feel and process our feelings, as well as problem solve, so we can move through it and make good decisions. So it's IQ meets EQ better together. So coming from an emotional intelligence lens, we look past the behavior and we focus on our inner emotional truth. What are our feelings? Because our thoughts create our feelings, and our feelings is what drives our behavior. So if we always want to focus on our behavior, right? That's our initial first response. Even as parents, if you have a kid struggling, or you're focusing on their anger, you're focusing on their sleep issues, whatever it is. But when we focus on the feelings, the inner emotional truth that's truly driving that behavior, when we feel and process it, then we can work on habits that change our behavior. But it's hard to do when we're not understanding what is driving the behavior. Behaviors can change, but we really need to dive deep, kind of like this iceberg, dive deep from what people see on the top, dive deep to our inner emotional truth. And when we can do that, then we can work and have the appropriate coping tools to work through anything. This is just another visual for you to see how when we don't process emotions, they just build up in our bodies. So for example, if we wake up and we're feeling a little irritated and annoyed, and we don't have some coping tools in our tool belt to help us resolve that, it's going to escalate through the day, and then it's just going to show up in rage and yelling, because we have not taken time to feel and process it. Feelings all have meaning to them. They are messages, data are telling us to pay attention. And I don't know if you guys are Brené Brown's fans, but I am. And she has a book that really talks a lot about 2 common emotions that we feel is shame and guilt. Shame, when we feel shame, we feel small, we feel powerless, we feel worthless. And it's often induced by other people. And guilt, I shared with you all my guilt. When we're feeling guilty, we feel like we've done something wrong or we violated principle of our values. And then we just don't align our behavior to our values. So we live in this guilt. So these are two emotions that have so much power over us. But when we practice emotional intelligence, we can have power over it and release those energies. So stress not only impacts your mind, but it impacts your immune system and how you feel in your body. So I shared with you, my son, anxiety was causing him to have a lot of absences. He was having a lot of stomach aches. There was even twice I took him to the ER thinking it was his appendix, but it was just anxiety, because it not only impacts your mind, but it impacts your complete body system. So it really takes energy out of your body, and it really is hard to show up as you desire to. So I'd like you to reflect when you're stressed, how does stress impact your body? Do you get headaches? Do you get stomach aches? How does it impact your body, and where does it show up in your body? Is it your shoulders, your head? Our mind and body are completely connected. So if you're going to have stress, it's going to impact you physically. And this is just a visual to show you how important it is to have stress management tools so it doesn't impact you in a way that you don't want it to. Stress means that it's bigger than the available resources that you have. So I am going to introduce you to an amazing stress management tool that you can use so you have that resource in your emotional tool belt. So when I create, I call them scripts. So when I create scripts for people, I like using their inner emotional truth, their true feelings, their language. It's more powerful. But today I'm going to lead you through a stress meditation, a generic stress meditation, so you can get the experience of feeling it. But I always start on limiting beliefs, where we talk about what are the beliefs that we feel is true for ourselves, which are a lot of times not true, And so we really reflect on that. And then we reflect on the events or traumatic events that are affecting us today, so we can release that energy from our body. And we focus on the emotions that we're feeling, so we can feel and process them, but now not allow them to have power over how we desire to move forward in our life. And then we focus on the symptoms that we feel in our bodies, so we can release that as well, so we can have more energy to do the things that we want to do and show up as we desire to. So emotional freedom technique is a holistic meditation. It's based on combined principles of ancient Chinese, acupressure, and modern psychology. So it's proven, there's so much science behind it, but it's proven to overcome a range of issues. It could be anxiety, fear, public speaking. It could be even smoking, procrastination, negative inner bully thoughts, emotional eating, so much more. But today we're going to do a tapping meditation just on stress. These are the tapping points, and I'm going to go through them, but I just wanted you to see there's 9 tapping points that we will tap on, energy points on our body. These are the tapping points, and these are the points that intuitively we know when we're stressed we go to. So when you're stressed, you may touch your heart or touch your head, or you may go like this when you have mental stress. So intuitively we know there's parts on our body that we go to when we're stressed, and those are those energy points that are so powerful to actually tap on and release. All right, so let me go ahead and stop sharing this. And so I can go over the tapping points. And so I'm going to just stop sharing the screen for a moment, but I will be more than happy to give you my social media contacts. So you can, if you would like a copy of an ebook with this tapping script and the tapping meditations, I'll have that for you. So the first tapping point is going to be the karate chop. So you'll just put your hand straight up And with 4 fingers, you're going to tap on the side of your hand. And the reason why this is a powerful tapping point, this is our setup statement. This is the tapping point where we're going to put a voice to how we feel. It promotes easing, it promotes moving forward. And this is how we heal from grief and the ability to be happy in the present moment. So we're going to be in the present moment of how we truly feel. And so you'll tap with this, and we're only going to use this tapping point in the beginning of our meditation. The other tapping point is you can tap just before we start with either 2 fingers like this on each tapping point, or you can use 2 fingers for 1. Some people use 4. I personally use my first finger and my middle finger. The middle finger is a powerful energy point on our body. You know, like when you're upset with someone, you flip them off, or someone cuts you off on the road, you automatically flip them off. This is your natural finger that you automatically use. It's because it shows power, and it's a power finger that when you use it to tap on these energy points, you're activating them. So I personally always use these 2, but do whatever is comfortable. It's very forgiving. So don't worry about doing it wrong or anything. So the side of the eye is right here where your eyebrow point starts. And just go ahead and tap like 3 to 5 times with each tapping point. So this one releases mental stress, trauma, and hurt, and sadness. And it promotes more peace and emotional healing in our body. So you may notice like throughout the day when you're stressed, you may like hold right here, like right by your both eyebrow points, you may go like this. That's because you're holding a lot of mental stress. That can be like you're overloaded with, the news, or you've just had a long day and you go like that. So intuitively, we know this is parts on our body that we go to when there's a lot of stress. The next one is the side of the eye, right here on the side of your eye. Go ahead and tap on that point 3 to 5 times. And you want to tap where you really hear a thump on your face. You're really tapping, but don't tap so hard where you're bruising yourself, okay? This tapping point releases resentment, anger, and promotes clarity and compassion. So this one's such a good tapping point. It feels really good. Okay, so the other one is right here under your eye. And this one is, do you see, it's right here under your eye. Literally just take those 2 fingers and tap here. And this one, with this tapping point helps, this one's related more to anxiety. It releases fear, anxiety, and promotes calmness and contentment. And it gives you that feeling of safety. So if at any point that these tapping points feel like extra sensitive to you, those are the ones you want to pay attention to, because your body is telling you that you need to release some more energy, or there's something more going on. So we really want to gain that awareness. And then we have the chin point, which is right here. And the chin point is like right under your mouth. And we have under our nose as well. And these 2 are pretty much connected. So this one's under the nose, and then the chin point is right where the crease in your chin starts. And what these 2 tapping points do, they release confusion and and uncertainty. So they promote a lot of clarity, certainty, and confidence of self-acceptance as well. So when you're feeling kind of just like a mental brain fog, that kind of stuff, these are so powerful to gain clarity, or you're having a hard time making a decision, then these are the tapping points that are so powerful. And then we have the collarbone, which is like right here where the U shape. Go like an inch over on your collarbone and tap on, you could do one or both collarbones. And your collarbone, this tapping point, what it means is it releases feeling stuck and promotes more ease in moving forward with more confidence and clarity as well. And then we have under the arm, which is for females where your bra strap starts. So go ahead and tap with me like 3 to 5 times on these. And this one releases guilt, it releases worry and obsessing when you have those obsessive thoughts. and it promotes more clarity, relaxation, and compassion, not only for yourself, but for others. So this one's a powerful tapping point. And then the last tapping point is the top of the head. And this one is not an ordinary tapping point. I know we kind of look like monkeys here, but this one is your root chakra. So this one is like at the end, we use it because it collects all of those energy meridian points that we're tapping on, and it opens the crown chakra. So this promotes more spiritual connection. And we're anchoring in that. So we're learning from our inner emotional truth, the wisdom from our past. We're able to really heal some trauma, some of our past, and we're learning from the wisdom of what happened to us. And when we're able to do that, we're able to move forward with more feeling grounded and less stress. So I am going to lead you through a powerful healing meditation. And like I said, this one's going to be under just the word stress. I don't know what truly is stressing you or what's going on in your life. I prefer using like your language, your feeling words, but for this one, I'm just going to use an overall one that I'm pretty sure we can all relate to. So how I would love for you to experience it is when I say a phrase, you say it back out loud with me. So what we do with emotional freedom technique, we start with the negative emotions. I call it rock the F word feelings because there's, negative and positive. We're human, we're going to experience them all, but for them to no longer have power over us, we want to start on the unpleasant emotions that we truly feel and put a voice to how we feel. And then we tap and move that energy out of our bodies, and we say some positive affirmations that rewire our brain, calm that nervous system down, that fight, flight, freeze. And we use these positive affirmation systems to rewire, and so we can feel less stress, more at ease, and that's when we show up with confidence as we desire to. So let's start with the setup statement. We're going to say this 3 times, okay? Even though I feel this tension in my body, I accept how I feel and I am open to releasing. Even though I have this stress in my body, I accept how I feel and I trust the process. Even though it's hard for me to let go of all the stress in my body, I honor how I feel and I allow myself to begin to relax. So now we have a voice to how we feel, and we're going to go ahead and tap on the remaining tapping points. Start with the eyebrow point and repeat after me. And tap 3 to 5 times or 3 to 7 times on each tapping point, okay? This tension in my body. Side of the eye. These thoughts running through my head. And before we continue to move through these points on our body, I really want you to think of the intensity level from a 0 to 10. How high is the stress in your body? Is it at a 5? Is it at a 10? Is it at a 7? Really focus on what's going on in your life and how it's impacting you. And just focusing on that, is it at a 0 to 10? And we're going to go ahead and continue tapping, but I wanted you to really reflect on that, put a mental note of it, write it down, because we're going to see at the end if that lowered. Okay. All this tension in my body. Side of the eye. These thoughts running through my mind. Under the eye. It's so hard to relax. Under the nose. When there's so much going on in my life. Under the chin point. I don't feel that I can relax. Collarbone. I have so much fear, guilt, and hurt in my body. under the arm, and all the stress in my body. Top of the head. All these negative thoughts in my mind. Eyebrow point. I have been holding on to this tension for so long. Side of the eye. All the stress in my body. Under the eye. All this pain and hurt that I'm feeling. Under the nose. It's exhausting. Chin point. All this tension. Collarbone. It has a heavy weight on me. Under the arm. This feeling doesn't take me anywhere. Doesn't help me move forward. Makes me feel so exhausted. Top of the head. It feels so good to let it go. Eyebrow point. I notice the remaining tension in my body. Side of the eye. And I choose to let go of all the stress in my body I am feeling. Under my eye. I honor how I feel. Under the nose. I have been through so much. Under the mouth. The chin point. And it's okay that I feel this way. Collarbone. It's safe to begin to let all the stress go. Under my arm. I'm choosing peace right now. Top of the head. I'm choosing confidence right now. Side of the eye. I'm choosing empathy for myself right now. Side of the eye. I'm choosing empowerment. Under the eye. I'm choosing me. On the nose. It feels so good to let go of the stress. Chin point. I feel more at peace. Collarbone. I feel grounded. Under the arm. It feels so good to let go of the stress. Top of the head. Right here, right now, I feel calm, peace, and at ease. Go ahead and stop tapping right now and go ahead and take 3 deep breaths. Good. Okay, now I would like you to measure the intensity of your stress that you're feeling, again, from the beginning of intensity. So how do you feel right now on a 0 to 10? And if it lowered, that's great. that means the tapping worked. And if it didn't, we want to tap some more. We want to use some stronger feeling words and really tap on how you're feeling and release that energy from your body. So thank you so much for tapping and releasing some of that stress. I hope this worked for you. If it didn't, like I said, I'd love to tap some more with you. If you would like to create more or have more of a script that's for your personal trigger, I have a monthly program. I just wanted to share with you the Emotional Freedom Technique program. And I have a one-on-one coaching program where you get one-on-one coaching with me, and I will create that personal script and we'll tap together, because it's always better together. We should not be doing life or business or parenting alone. Together is better. And I also have a group membership that is starting in April. I'm very excited about it. And twice a month, I'm going to be doing a group tapping meditation. It's going to be on a topic, and you'll join in and we'll tap together on that particular topic. You'll get the EFT script that I will be using as well, so you can use that in your own journey. To get a hold of me, these are my social media contacts. So I have my website, which is tapthemartin.com. If you would like emotional wellness tips, go on there. You can sign up for my newsletter. I always send weekly newsletter of emotional wellness tips. Instagram is where I post daily on emotional wellness tips and tricks. So you can find me at Tab Martin. There's my email address and my phone number. Feel free to contact me if you need any more tools in your tool belt for stress management. And I hope that you enjoyed this. I encourage you to rock the F word feelings, all those unpleasant feelings, feel them and face them with self-compassion head on, and release those from your body so it doesn't have power over you. Have a good day.